How I turned from a poor road beggar to the wife of a state governor's son, millionaire. I never imagined that the same feet I used to drag through muddy roads, begging, would one day be pampered in luxury, in the palace of a governor. My name is Ugochukwu. Yes, I know it sounds masculine, but that was the name my late father gave me. I carried that name proudly through the darkest seasons of my life. But the man who changed my destiny, Raymond, gave me a new name, Vivian. He said, Vivian means full of life. That's who you are, even when the world tried to kill your future. I held both names close to my heart. Ugochukwu, the name of my pain, and Vivian, the name of my redemption. This happened some few years back, but I want to share the testimony now, to encourage anyone that might be feeling rejected or thought her own world has closed and there is no hope again. This testimony is for you. Let your hope rise again. Since God can raise a nobody like me and made something out of nothing in my life, brought me from nowhere to somewhere marvelous, a nonentity becomes a millionaire, then have hope. God is still in the business of raising his children from dunghill to palace. Now, hear the story of my life. It's a true life story. I was born into a humble home in a small village in Imo State. My father was a teacher, my mother sold fruits. We didn't have riches, but we had love. My parents taught me to value honesty, hard work, and education. From a young age, I was always top of my class. By the time I reached junior secondary school 3, I was known in school as the lawyer in skirt, because of how fluently I spoke English and how confidently I answered questions in class. But life doesn't always reward the smart ones. It rewards the prepared. My father died when I was 12. He was hit by a drunk driver while trying to cross the road after school. That day changed everything. My mother was never the same. She tried to be strong for me, but sickness began to eat her up. At age of 16, just before my JSCE exams, my mother passed away. I was completely alone. I tried to stay in the village, but poverty, hunger, and abuse from relatives chased me out. I made my way to Owerri. With no money, no contacts, and no shelter, the street became my new home. I joined a group of young beggars who stayed around Douglas Road. Every morning, we would spread out around traffic lights, each holding plastic bowls. Good morning, sir. Good afternoon, ma. Please help me. God bless you. That becomes my companion. That became my new life. My tears became dry. My voice lost its joy. Some people threw 50 naira, 100 naira, without looking at me. Others insulted me. Some men tried to lure me into unspeakable things. Many nights, I slept under bridges or in uncompleted buildings. Yet, I never forgot how to speak. I never forgot my dreams. Then one afternoon, it happened. It was hot and dusty. I was at the traffic junction when a black jeep pulled up in front of me. The windows rolled down. A young man stared at me. He looked shocked. "What's your name?" he asked. "Ugochukwu," I replied. He blinked. "You speak good English. What are you doing here?" My lips trembled. I told him my story. From JS3 to the streets. He was quiet for a long moment. Then handed me a card. "Go to this address tomorrow. Ask for Madame Rebecca. Tell her Raymond sent you." I stared at the card like it was gold. The next morning, I bathed in the river, cleaned up as best as I could, and went to the address. It was a mansion. The gates were bigger than the entire street I slept on. The guards almost chased me away, but when I said Raymond's name, they let me in. Inside, I met Madame Rebecca. She looked at me from head to toe. "You, Raymond sent you. Are you sure?" I showed her the card. Her eyes widened. Within an hour, I was given food, a warm bath, and clean clothes. She offered me a job as a cleaner. That was the beginning. I cleaned floors, toilets, and even polished shoes with joy. Other workers mocked me, called me traffic girl. But I didn't care. I was safe. I had hope again. He didn't return until some months later. And then, came back. The same man in the black jeep. His name was Raymond, and he was the governor's only son. He greeted everyone, then worked. Up to me. Ugochukwu, right, you kept your word. I nodded shyly. He smiled. That smile changed something in me. From that day, he started noticing me, asking questions. I began to grow. One day, I heard a knock at the kitchen door. It was him. He said, "Come with me." I followed. He took me to a small garden inside the compound. And he said these words, "I don't know why, but I feel peace around you. You're like fresh air in this choking world of politics and lies." I didn't understand what to say, so I said nothing. But from that day, everything changed. He would sit with me, talk to me, laugh with me. People began to talk. That evening, he sat with me and asked about my dreams. I told him about wanting to be a lawyer, about how much I loved books. He began to bring me novels and textbooks. I read every night, sometimes till midnight. He started teaching me on weekends, showing me how to use a laptop. He bought me a small phone so I could read ebooks. We became friends, but not everyone was happy. The governor's wife called me into her parlor one day. "Vivian, or whatever you call yourself," she said, spitting the name, "don't mistake kindness for opportunity. Stay in your place and leave my son alone. Does it mean you don't know who he is or not? Be warned, be warned, be warned," she said. I went to bed that night crying. I tried to stay away from Raymond, but he found me after 3 days. "Why are you avoiding me?" he asked. I told him. He smiled sadly. "Do you want to go back to the streets, Vivian? Or do you want to rise above their expectations?" That day, he told me he loved me. I thought he was joking. Me, a nobody, I tried my possible best to stay away from him. But he didn't let me. One evening, he came into the quarters where staff stood and said something I'll never forget. "I love you, Vivian, and will not stop loving you, come rain come sunshine. I don't care what anyone says. I'm the one that gave you the name, Vivian, and this name will remain with me forever. Vivian, will you be mine?" I almost fainted. Me, a former beggar, I still thought it was a joke. Until he took me to the governor himself. What happened that day was war. The governor exploded. "Never. You want to marry a street beggar? Over my dead body." He insulted me, called me a gold digger, a manipulator. Raymond stood his ground. He was disowned, kicked out. He was thrown out of the mansion. Disowned. And yet, he held my hand and said, "If I must lose everything for you, then so be it. You're worth more than everything they own." He took me to dinner, held my hands, whispered promises. He lost his cars, his accounts, everything. But he told me, "I'd rather lose all that than to lose you." We got married in a small hall. One rented gown. A friend officiated. He used his savings to start a tech startup. We worked day and night. He coded. I handled clients. When the first international client paid us $10,000, we cried and danced all night. Within 3 years, our company became one of the fastest growing in Nigeria. He was invited to speak in Dubai, London, and Nairobi. We bought our first house, then our second, then a mansion. One day, a black jeep drove guess who? It was the governor and his wife. They came seeking support for re-election. Raymond welcomed them like royalty. When they apologized, I cried. We were wrong, the governor said. Raymond replied, love wins. And God lifted who he chose. He blesses whom he wants to bless. God has been too good to us, he said. So Raymond called his 3 children and said, Mom, Dad, here are our beautiful kids, Godwins, and Rejoice. Today, I have built a foundation that sponsors girls who drop out after JS3. Because that was me. I speak at schools and conferences. I wear gowns I once admired from afar. But I still work to the streets once a month, quietly, to hand out food and listen to stories. Because someone once asked me, what's your story? And it turned around my life for good and saved me. This is my story. From pain to purpose, from street dust to destiny, from road beggar to a millionaire. And to every young girl listening, don't stop dreaming, don't stop praying, don't stop speaking, because someone, somewhere, is watching. And one day, your name will change too. May your own miracle locate you when you least expect it. Thank you for listening.